Now the last work we're going to look at is this small baby carrier. This is probably a toy. So for a young girl who would, model after what her mother was doing. It's very common. Boys would model what their fathers are doing. Young girls would model what their mothers are doing. So the mother would have a large scale one of these to carry around the baby. The young girl would later have her own, which were made, for her by her female relatives. So this is a soft case around here. The doll would go inside. They'd mount it on the back, mounted on the board. This frame, this bottom line holds the lower part. This holds the upper part. Have nice brass tacks for decoration. But what we're going to look at today is the beadwork. So we can see the beadwork wraps all the way around. It's just very, very classic design for a baby carrier. But once again, if we look at this here, we can see it's very, very similar. It has lines of lane stitching. Each design is centered, is split in half by a row. We have a bottom and a top. Same. Look here. Same use, similar use of color. White in the background. They have these little triangle points that are pretty sharp. You can see here. So although this is a sort of a brief overview, this is 1, 2, 3, 4 good examples of what Cheyenne beadwork looks like. So in traditional Plains society, historical, the production of art was divided into two. It was by the men and by the women. The men did pictorial works and sculpture. Women did beadwork, quill work, and they made the clothes. They made all this type of material. And the vast majority of objects that are in museums now was actually created by women. So, when people start thinking about, well, what does Native American art, at least from the Plains, look like? And when they think about beadwork, we know that all that work was made by women. Men historically had their way of achieving honor. It was either through battle, hunting, taking care of your family, etc., etc. And women, who were their equal just in a different way, had their way of achieving honor. One of their ways was how well they kept their camp, their teepee, how well they made objects. Many of tribes had their own women's groups that would, I guess you could say, societies that made objects. So oftentimes women would teach each other how to make work, and there would be separate. And the older woman would teach the younger woman or the mother on how to make, for example, how to quill. And there's sort of these, what's the way to put it? Sort of these sacred societies that women sort of belong to for the production of artwork. So where men kind of did their own thing, women had their way of achieving honor through making really great objects that were sort of passed down through the generations.